because if it's not one of those obvious things, there's so many different weird things it could be, most of which I'm not familiar with, that they'll be in a much better position to help you.
Mm-hmm. I'll do that. Thank you.
Yep, just support at netbraintech.com. They're absolutely fantastic. I don't know when they sleep. So, okay, how do I remove an object from the map? Select it, either by just clicking on it with the left mouse button or left click and drag to lasso stuff. And then you press the delete key on your keyboard for Windows. I forget what the shortcut key is for Mac. It's something like function delete or something like that. It's been a long time since I last heard that, but it is slightly different on Mac. And William wants to know, can a client on an access point be monitored as an endpoint? If it's there consistently, it can be discovered as an end system, but for transient stuff like that, you typically want to use probably a QApp, I guess, to pull a list of all current clients on that access point and then check through that. So for discovery of end systems and things like that, you typically only want to bother tuning it out for stuff that's going to stay there consistently. As for the access point itself, absolutely. Rich WAPs that think for themselves are treated as normal devices. Lightweight access points where we're talking to the controller, those are priced a little differently, typically cheaper per AP, I think. Yeah, so access points, yes, they do cost no license, but like I said, LWAPs typically are on a slightly different license variant that is cheaper per item because we're typically talking to the controllers rather than to the devices directly. Yeah, that anything to do with licensing and money is a conversation to have with your NetBrain account executive, customer success manager, renewal manager, somebody who deals with the money. I don't. And anytime I try to quote prices or something, I've always gotten it wrong, so I've just stopped. James wants to know, how do we obtain workbook for lab use? So they're not posted just yet. I'm hoping when I'm done with this, I'm going to go back and have gotten a final approval from my colleagues, and then what's going to happen is the PDF will be posted in two places, and they're the same two places that you can already find the slide deck. One of those places is inside the class lab. If you go to Files, Public, NetBrain 101, here in this folder, so the workbook should be up here hopefully a little bit later today. The other place is, if we go into the NetBrain University online system and sign in, if we click on NetBrain 101, it'll be under the resources on the side tab here or resources right here. It'll be as the class workbook. The document in both locations will be identical. I'm also planning to upload 201 a little later this afternoon, the workbook, and we're working on the others for 202, 203, and 204. So those are coming soon. And the 101 workbook is version 1. An expanded draft will come out eventually because, we're just, the NetBrain updates so frequently that we're always kind of scrambling to keep the materials up to date, essentially. Okay, in any case, now the other thing while we're in here is in a minute, I'm going to mark attendance, and once you guys have been marked present, you'll be able to click Evaluate Course in here. So again, we're going into NetBrain University and clicking on the course where we came to register. And then when you click Evaluate Course, you'll be able to rate the course itself and me in particular in a couple different ways. 5 stars is good, 1 star is bad. Please be honest, good, bad, or ugly. We want to know what you think, especially if you have things we could do better. And in particular, if you have any written comments, leave them here. This goes directly to my boss and my boss's boss and a number of other important people. So if you want to tell them how terrible I am, that's the place. And please be specific because then I know how to do better. That's kind of the whole point. And the bribe for doing this is that's what gets you 100% completion credit for the class in NetBrain University, if you care about that. So, yeah, and there is no time limit on doing this, but I would do it right away just so you don't forget. So I'm going to flip back to the slide deck and say thank you. Pause my screen because I don't want to share everybody's full names with the entire world. And I do have a screenshot from earlier, so I'm going to be calling out names as I mark them. You do not need to say present or whatever, but what I would appreciate you guys doing is just, if you're still here, if I do not call your name at any point, please let me know when I'm done. So let's see, we have Asra. There you are. We have Brian. We have Carlos. We have Eugene. We have, I'm not sure who iPhone is. If you could let me know who you are in the chat. We have James. There you are, James M. We have Jeff W. There you are. We have Joanne. There you are. We have Maurice. Use her last name, Maurice. Maurice, I don't see you as having registered for the class, so when you have a second, if you could, looks like it's not here anymore. Okay. Oh no, there you are. If you could just send me your work email, the one linked to your NBU account in the chat, you can just private message that to me. I can register you and mark you present. So let's see. We've got Mozzie. We've got Nilsson. We've got Patrick. And then Todd. Where's Todd? Again, I'm not seeing any Todd. So if there's a different name you might be marked under or whatever, please let me know. Tom, there you are. And finally, William. There you are. Okay. Let's see. So let's get Maurice registered. So let's see. Maurice registered. So let's see. Enroll users, paste. There. Okay, so just once again, to get to the survey, we're going to go to nbu.netbraintech.com and we're going to log in, and then pinned to the front page are all the different live classes as well as the DBA, the workbook, but also we'll be able to click evaluate course, say, am I good, am I bad, am I... Copy of the recording is, I should have said that's the beginning of class as well, so my bad. Email education@netbraintech.com and just say what you want. It doesn't matter if you attended or not. You can request any and all live class recordings at any time. I don't check to see if people are even in NBU. You can request whatever you want, and then I just forward the emails I get from Zoom. So, and
that was education@netbrain.
Yeah, tech.com. I put it in the chat.
Okay, perfect.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
how long does it take?
What?
Oh, I send the email.
I typically send it every Friday, but at this point, I'm gonna have to bite the bullet and try to do this through my web-based email client, which is a huge pain in the keister. But my desktop Outlook has been on the bork for the past 2 weeks. So,
okay.
But you guys don't care about that. So basically, if you send it right now, you'll probably get it today. Otherwise, it'll be on this Friday. I try to send it.
I sent it 7 days ago for both.
Right. So I'm behind because of that.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm gonna have to bite the bullet, correlate everything, probably in Notepad and paste. Yeah, it's just not your problem. But
so do I need to send again to remind?
No, you do not. No, you do not. Because I just need to get into the education account, correlate everything, and it's just
great.
It's a huge problem, but it's or a huge annoyance, I should say. But that's not your problem, and I sincerely apologize for the delay. Now, to answer William's question about the 200 series, you should take them in order. Yes. You should absolutely take them in order. It's not that they won't make any sense whatsoever if you take them out of order, but for example, in 202, we're going to be building automation, talking about using parser files. It's really much better if you already know what a parser file is and how to build one from 201, for example. So there's that. Now, the other link that I should give everybody before people start leaving is exchange.netbrain.com. So that's the email, that's the URL for the NetBrain Exchange site. That is both our community forum and our suggestion board and a few other things. So it's been around for a little while now, but it's still very much a growing and developing community. Please come join us and ask questions, answer questions. I don't get to crawl that board as much as I would like, but a lot of the smart people at NetBrain, including many of our developers, actually hang out there to answer questions and stuff. So please, aside from asking support, that's another good question. And of course, if you have any how-to questions about NetBrain, you can also email education@netbraintech.com and ask. That is one of our jobs very explicitly, is to answer your question. And if you ask us a question we can't answer, then we'll find somebody who can. So there's that. Also with the suggestions, the suggestion board is on the exchange. So please go, and anything and everything, that ideas that you have, PM would love to hear it. All right. So now open Q&A. So I'm going to start by inviting anybody who is under a hard time limit, who needs to get out of here quickly. If you have any questions, please fire away. Okay, well, in that case, the floor is open. Questions about anything to do with NetBrain, however simple, however complicated, end user, power user, admin, all on the table. Super user, I probably won't know the answer, but feel free to ask. Yeah, this time is yours, and I can stick around basically the rest of the day if people need it. So
personally, I have to step away. Just wanted to say thank you for your help.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Take up.
All right, take care, Mazi.
Okay.
In the lab for this class, when we log into our account, that's available all the time, right? It's not going to
always
go away.
The only time that ever goes down, the only time your access will be cut off is, first of all, if your employer, for whatever reason, specifically asked us to deactivate your NBU account. Then that would shut off. The other thing is, if it's ever down, in theory, if there's a problem with the system or if it's being upgraded, we do try to give advance notice of upgrades in the notifications. So if we log out, under the README. At the top here, we'll usually try to give as much advance notice as we can of any upcoming outages. That's once or twice a year to upgrade the system.
Excellent. And thank you very much.
You're very welcome. But yeah, and then there's, once in a great while, a truck will hit a telephone pole up in Canada and knock out power to our entire data center. I'm still not sure what the deal is with that, because, UPSs are a thing. But anyway, I don't know. But that happened a couple months ago, so that sort of thing may also occur, and that could and did take the class lab offline. But aside from that, yeah, all the time.
So which class? So the 201 class, so if I'm interested in writing a network change and I have 3,000 devices, and let's say they are all on, I have a campus of 300 buildings, and so each building has its own management subnet. And I'm looking to change, by specific use cases, I'm looking to change our TACAX servers.
Okay.
And we have in the config, we have a TACAX source interface command for the VLAN on which that device is located, which of course is different throughout all the buildings. So if I'm looking to write a change to create a new TACAX group, insert my new TACAX IP addresses, that's all consistent across devices, but the source interface is going to change. Now, learning how to do that sort of thing is going to be in the 201 class?
That'll be in 204 specifically. So if that's all you want, if you don't want to build any specific adaptive automation yet, you can come straight to 204, and I'll teach you how to use CM. But I'd say offhand, you're looking at probably a series of different changes within the same task, using templates basically to replicate across all your different devices. That's pretty straightforward. And then but the reason that 201 through 203 are listed as a prerequisite for 204 is we do talk about using adaptive automation for verifying your changes, and so students would have a much better understanding of what you would do with that and how you can utilize that if you've already been through 201 through 203.
Okay.
So whether all of them are certainly useful, whether in the short term or the long term. But the specific one you would need for what you describe is 204.
And that would basically be explanatory as to, like, if I'm making a change across a whole bunch of devices and I need to read something in particular from the device and use that as a variable in my change, that class.
I don't know if that's currently supported. What I'm thinking of is if you've got, a whole batch of devices that I'm going to point to this IP address, another batch to that IP address, that's fairly straightforward to set up and then execute either on a schedule or manually at a time of your choosing.
Oh, okay.
In terms of pulling data from the device and feeding that back into the change script, that is not currently supported as far as I am aware. That may be coming with the next update. There's going to be a big update to CM as far as reactive changes. But what exact form that's going to take, I don't know yet. I haven't had a chance to go hands-on with it. I'm super excited for it. But yeah, like we actually having reactive changes finally. And keep in mind, this is contingent on you having purchased the optional change management module for NetBrain as part of your subscription. So software-wise, you have the software in place, but whether you'll be able to use it in your system depends on the terms of your license. The other thing is this is specifically for CLI changes. It's not going to work for API, for example.
Okay. So so we do have the network change module available in license. So
Perfect.
What you're saying right now, it's not really possible to say, okay, read a config and then take this particular variable from the config and use it in my network change where I'm changing other stuff as well.
Unfortunately not. But if you could have, say, okay, I have this batch of devices that I know we're going to point to this IP address, then you can do it like that, where you have, okay, this batch, we're going to have the same script that's going to point them to this batch, point them to this batch, point them to this. That's easy enough to do.
Okay.
So, yeah, big update coming with, I think, the next major release. Again, exactly what form it's going to take, I don't know. But from the rumblings I've heard, I think there's a very good chance that you'll be able to enact your use case when that comes out. But I don't want to make you promises because I don't know yet.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so William, when will I be posting April dates? Soon, TM. I need to flesh out a few matters of PTO first.
I have one other question. Why, I'm trying to find. So it's a little confusing between the versioning where you're on patch version 10, but it's version R11. Just as a random curiosity, is there a reason that those aren't in sync?
I don't know. I can't really discuss that on recording because my comments and thoughts on the matter are not safe for work.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's all I have to say about that.
All right. So I'm not the only one who's confused by that then. Okay, that's my
takeaway. No, you are not, and I can't say that on that.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, we've started internally just referring to it by the release numbers, but yeah, India Delta Foxtrot Kilo. I think I can say that.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right, I don't think I have any other questions, so thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
You're welcome.
Have a great day.
You too, sir.
Yep. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome, Todd. Thank you for coming.
Yep, thank you. Back to other work.
All right.